Several adult porn actresses have come forward with sexual assault allegations against James Deen, a male porn actor who is very famous. I think a lot of people know who he is. Yeah. Now, this all started when his ex-girlfriend came forward and said that he had basically raped her. She said that he was having sex with her, and she kept saying, no, no, stop. She even said her safe word. Now, remember, these are all allegations, and then he proceeded to continue having sex with her. Now, after that happened, other porn stars came forward, including Tori Lux and Ashley Fires, with their own stories. Now, keep in mind that as far as this story goes, at this moment, they're not planning on pressing any charges against him. They just wanted to make their stories known, and they're standing in solidarity with his ex-girlfriend. Now, Ashley Fires said the following, and by the way, their pieces are on the Daily Beast, and you should read them in their entirety. She said, I was getting out of the shower of the communal bathroom at Kink, which is a porn production studio. I reach for my towel to dry off, and he comes up from behind me and pushes himself and his erection into my butt. He pushes me against the sink and starts grabbing on me, and I was like, no, 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 James, no. And he released me from his grasp and says, you know, later if you want to fuck around, I'm in the room, whatever it was. I was like, fuck you. I didn't even know this guy. He was so out of line and entitled with my body.
Jeez.
So,
yeah, I mean, I saw when the ex-girlfriend first made the accusations, and then when you see within 24 hours multiple other actresses. Now, there have been porn actresses who have said, you know, that they've interacted with him and not had any experiences, which doesn't prove anything, of course. And he has defended himself on social media. It is interesting that they're not pressing any charges. Also, when you publicly accuse someone of this, don't the police have to investigate?
Well, I don't know what's going to end up happening. I don't know. I mean, there were a lot of accusations against Bill Cosby, and it doesn't seem like the police took it upon, or the prosecutors took it upon themselves to investigate.
He's a far more powerful man. I mean, look, he's a very well-known male porn star. I'm sure he's doing quite well for himself. And the thing that I think is most surprising is that amongst male porn stars, to the extent that we know anything about their personalities, he's known as sort of the feminist male porn star.
Yeah.
He had this charity. I did a video about it a while ago on my personal channel about it was for breast cancer. He started this charity. And so to hear this is obviously, that's extremely disconcerting.
It is, absolutely. And it's hard to comment on a story like this because at this point, we don't have evidence. He hasn't been convicted of anything. The fact that several women have come forward, I think, you know, is interesting. But again, like, we don't know. At this moment, we don't know. And I don't know how this is going to develop. Yeah. Now, that was Ashley Fires talking about what she went through. Let's go ahead and move on to Tori Lux, who also wrote a piece in the Daily Beast. Tori Lux says the following, and this allegedly happened back in 2011. Deen repeatedly asked Lux if she wanted to sniff his testicles, then assaulted her when she refused, grabbing her by the throat and shoving her on the floor, she says. He proceeded to straddle my chest, pinning down my arms with his knees. Then he raised his hand high above his head, swinging it down and hitting me in the face and head with an open palm. He did this 5 or 6 times hard before finally getting off of me.
Yeah, those are incredibly specific accounts.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, and look, if there isn't going to be any investigation, then unfortunately we're never going to know. Our assumption is that people are telling the truth when they say these sorts of things, especially when multiple people come out in a short period of time. That's not the sort of thing that, especially if you're in the industry, you just casually talk about.
Yeah.
And so it's a frustrating situation because if this happened, we want there to be some consequences, but we also, as you said, don't know.
We don't know. And another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit is, look, Tori Lux is likely to be criticized for not coming forward when the assault happened because she says that it happened in 2011. But she talks about that in her piece, and I think that she makes a great point. When you're working in the sex industry, whether it's as a prostitute or a porn star or whatever, there's this assumption that as a woman, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation and you can't get sexually assaulted. You can't get raped. But that's not the case, okay? Just because they're doing this for money doesn't mean that any person is entitled to violating their bodies whenever they want, right? There has to be consent. And so she felt that coming forward would actually be a disservice to herself, and she was scared.
Or could hurt her career, maybe.
Could hurt her career.
Yeah.
And her being scared is totally understandable. But one thing that I want to make clear is that it's incredibly important to come forward as, you know, a rape survivor or someone who's been, you know, the victim of sexual assault, because in order to change the thought process that people have about porn stars or people in the sex industry, people have to come forward and let the population know what the reality is, you know?
Yeah, and although they work in a very special, particular sort of workplace, it's the sort of concern that everybody has when they're sexually assaulted. The worries that you're not going to be believed, or that it could hurt your job regardless of what that job is. If it happens to you at a bank and some executive sexually assaults you, then you're going to be very worried about accusing them of that. You're going to worry about your potential future in banking. And so that obviously is something we want to get past. And hopefully, look, it might be that other porn stars will come out with their experiences. It might be that people who were around them at that time might provide more information. But at this point, it's just a tragedy that unfortunately it doesn't look like there's going to be much resolution on.